Bad news.
Bad news is, even though I've tested a whole bunch of things and spent probably 14 or 15 hours in the last 2 days testing stuff, if you guys something always goes wrong. The good news was I was relatively confident. The good news was I was relatively confident. Anyway,
What went wrong?
I just got an error.
What went wrong?
I just got an error report, but it wasn't a fatal error, so it's fine. It's fatal errors that I have to watch out for. It's fatal errors that I have to watch out for. Okay. So,
Do you want to drag Sabo down again?
I did. Did it not move him until just then?
No, it
Um,
did.
No,
I,
they
I had
quit.
some. What did you do? Okay.
Oh, you had joined the chat and then you left.
Yeah.
Presume Turkey got you and you were being sent to some prison.
Yeah. No.
The
I.
Friar.
So I. To play D&D yesterday, I had to get this VPN. On my laptop, I could not get a VPN because all the websites are blocked. So I got one from Play Store.
Okay. Would someone like to do the recap real quick?
Sure. So last session started with us pretty much immediately heading to Castle Flirknavor so that we could attend the trial of Leuven. When we got there, Sabo went and talked with Connor for a short while, seemingly in an attempt to intimidate him and get a little reaction out of him. And the rest of us took a little bit of time just to look around, but the trial got started pretty quickly thereafter. Once things got started, we were surprised with Kevin and Nilvarius being called to sit on the panel of judges along with the Queen for the case. But that ended up working out fine because Sabo was the most prepared for the defense anyway. So arguments were presented on both sides for whether Leuven was guilty or innocent of the crimes. And it was ultimately decided that while he did in fact commit the acts that were considered crimes, he was found not guilty because he was in a state of undeath at the time. And the laws of the country had indicated that actions taken while in a state of undeath were not to be held against him. Once the verdict was passed that he was innocent, it was also offered and recommended that he attend some rehabilitation, which he immediately declined. And then after the
Decline seems
trial,
like too light of a word. But yes.
immediately rejected vehemently,
Very well.
maybe. And then shortly after the trial was finished, Connor held a small feast for the special occasion. And once that was all said and done, we parted ways and headed back to our own respective areas of interest. Leuven came with Kevin and Nia to the town of Urg, and Sabo and Nilvarius went back to Agara.
Okay. So, picking up with Sabo and Nilvarius. For Sabo, we just completed one of your research attempts, and for Nilvarius, you had dedicated time to helping them with crafting and development.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Sabo. I gave you the result of the check, just to confirm. It was the... I should have given you the information on what the DC was for what you need to do to actually achieve alchemical transformation. Sorry, independent alchemical transformation. And I believe it was a recommendation for Philosopher's Stone and... that at this stage you have not achieved a net surplus because of essence absorption causing alchemical transformation in your devices.
Yes, you didn't give me all the DCs, but I guess what you mean is that I can just find out the DC when I want to do something.
Achieving a state of perfect alchemical alchemical transmutation is DC 100, and then you can reduce that DC by basically making it less likely to be exactly what you want.
Okay. Got it.
Okay. Novarius, there wasn't a whole lot of nice information to give you. You just helped their progress go slightly faster. And while it doesn't necessarily feel like a whole lot, it is a little percentage thing that goes up slightly faster.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
So getting into the next period. Sorry, just checking the calendar.
I've stopped keeping track of time because so much time is passing, it's hard to keep track since it's these huge chunks of downtime.
That is
So
fair.
I'm just gonna wait.
Okay, cool. So starting with Sabo. Sabo, are you continuing your research for this year, or were you planning on going off to look for an alchemical stone or looking into that process?
I will start by asking around.
Alright. So Algar actually has a few rules for alchemy. Well, for alchemy stones. So, many years ago is actually an understatement. A long time ago, before this place was even a city, alchemy stones were used by ancient elves. These stones are what they would use to basically, they would use these stones as part of construction rather than making stone buildings or moving resources about. They would just fabricate large sections of what they're building where it is.
Okay. Doesn't sound like a lot what they do now.
No. That's because of the gate incident. Someone thought about creating matter from nothing. Not matter from ambient air, but from literal nothingness. And to do that, they had to create a negative. At least that's what they called it at the time. For a short period of time, several years, they were able to successfully produce matter from nothing. They're not sure on how the person did this, but they do know that they used some new style of alchemy stone. The person who actually did this, their name's been lost to history. Or it might just be being restricted from you, you're not quite sure. Now, when basically there was this build-up over time of this negative, and eventually it formed a black gate. When this gate formed, alchemy stopped functioning correctly. It was like a portion of every transmutation, every recipe, as it was being produced, was being siphoned somewhere else. It made everything in the area not function quite right. And this built up and built up and built up into an actual solid 4-dimensional gate materialized. Now, originally this gate was a flat 2-dimensional portal, and then almost overnight it went from 2-dimensional to 4-dimensional. When this happened, alchemy across the entire world, for the most part, stopped working almost at all. It wasn't for... Sorry, I'm just reading over a whole bunch of stuff as I'm going over this. About 4 centuries later, that it actually started functioning again. This 4-dimensional gate never vanished, but they pretty much changed how they handle the rules around alchemy because of it. They're not sure what this is. A few people who studied it at the time thought that it could be some sort of error build-up in the universe, where kind of like a garbage collection was occurring and isolating everything to a single point, and then that garbage pile was just getting larger and larger and larger until it was going to either engulf everything or something strange was going to happen there. Another thing to note is that 4-dimensional imprint was actually visible on all planes simultaneously. Any attempt to interact with this prism, the second you crossed what they called the null barrier, which was about a foot away from it, you stopped being solid mass and you would disintegrate as you approached it. It seemed to hold no gravitational field of its own. It didn't push or pull things to it. But when you got close to it, it's kind of like you would just blow away in the wind. What was even more confusing is wounds that were caused by it were unable to be magically healed, which was a sign of soul damage.
Did they manage to spiritually heal them or something?
There's not much that actually talks about the healing process. At least not kept in Elgara.
Okay.
The gate, as they call it ruptured almost 1,000 years after it formed. When it did so, it actually took out magic.
Be right back once again.
All magical ley lines were disrupted, and a lot of them actually bled out into the land. And by elves, I mean high elves. There are other sects of elves and other clans that do their own thing, but high elves are the most ancient of practitioners. They've pretty much tried all forms of magic to one extent or another, and it's just generally not really viewed very well for elves. Basically, don't like any other elves going into any extreme of any field because it's always gone bad in history, inevitably. So they like to use very surface level of most fields of magic.
Okay.
Outside of Elgara, the city, you would imagine from elven culture that the chronomancy used in Elgara would be beyond forbidden.
Agreed.
There are several islander villages from a long, long time ago that were known to still use alchemical assistants, these being alchemy stones. They use several different types. They also tend to imbue them over long periods of time so that they can generate from a capacitor or a battery. Because of how long it's been, you'd have to approximate the location, and they'll give you basically 3 locations that it could be. You actually have gotten rather good at this over the time, so the DC is a lot lower to attempt this.
I'm gonna need my ship.
Do keep in mind that they've still got the tablet being used.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna. That's what I mean. I can't go. So in Algara, they do not use any kind of alchemical stones at all whatsoever.
Not alchemy stones themselves, but they do have alchemy supplies that they do use.
Okay. And
It's a lot more of the manual way rather than calculating something with a computer. It's basically them calculating it by hand.
well, I don't. So I only need one specific, I guess, property of the alchemy stone. From what you're saying, it sounds like it does a lot more.
There's many variations of alchemy stones.
Okay. And is all the knowledge in Algara wiped out?
It's not necessarily wiped out, it's just been filed away. There's probably some where would those be? Yeah, so there would be versions of the item, versions of research from thousands of years ago in any number of any number of the libraries.
Okay, and are they gonna let me?
You're welcome to, but there is because of how it's built upon, it will take you potentially decades to find the actual paperwork in there.
Is it because I have no idea how to look? Or because it's just like that?
It's just really old resources that have not been touched in thousands of years.
And they don't have anything to help find it?
Not for things quite so old. They have codexes for a lot of their newer stuff, but that was only invented just under 11,000 years ago.
So the
And
rest is
alchemy
just a big
stones haven't
pile.
been used in nearly 40.
So it's just a big pile.
Not even a big pile. We're talking hundreds of floors of library down into, sorry, not down to the ground, in a compressed space.
With no classification? No order to it?
The sorting systems that are used for those things have been built upon each other, so they would have been sorted by a outdated relic of a sorting system that most people, pretty much everyone in Elgara, doesn't actually know how to use today. There's a few people here who speak ancient Elgaran that can actually translate, ancient Elgarish, that can actually translate the text. But it's not the most convenient way to well, I guess getting one of them to go through it with you would be the most convenient way, but it's not what either of us would call a convenient method.
Mm. Everything is also written in that language, which I guess I don't know yet. But I do have slots.
You've spent enough time here, so if you'd like to dedicate one of your slots towards it.
Okay. Yes. Seems like I need it.
Yep. Do keep in mind that to take an ancient language, you've got to take the modern variant first.
Okay. 2 slots.
But you've
Great.
got Elven.
Okay, yeah, I do have Elven. Okay. So
Ancient Elgarish is the ancient version of Elven.
okay. So you're saying that there are codexes that describe how it was, not codexes, but there is some systems of sorting.
So there's been hundreds of different, probably close to dozens of different sorting systems that the library has used as they've developed more efficient methods of sorting until they came up with codexes. Codexes are books that basically share their contents with all other books in a localized field. So while within the library, one codex contains all the other information in any other codex, and it allows you to access the information. It runs on chronomancy.
Okay. I if I go down the path of going back a few thousand years in their sorting systems, so I can actually find shit in the library, will it still take decades?
Potentially, we're talking about hundreds, if not, no, it would be hundreds of thousands of different books that you would have to go over. Most of them
To
being
figure out.
translations of other books that are just So there would be the more common books that would have existed back then. And then there's these older ones that have not really been touched in such a long time. And it's those common ones that just take up such a bulk because they've just been translated from generation after generation after generation. You could try and start approximately when what's it called? Alchemy stones stop being used, or at least as far back as you think that is, and the people around you think that is, which could give you a better shot at it, but it really just comes down to chance. That gives you better odds of getting it in a fast.
That still sounds like I'm just checking every single book. Is there no chance to figure out how to at least approximately use the old sorting system?
You could try to figure out how the old sorting system works.
So that's what I said. If I do that, how long will that take?
That could take a year or two to itself, depending on you're pretty good at that sort of thing. So you'd guesstimate a year, maybe a year and a half.
Yeah, I'm gonna go there. Go there.
All right. Okay, can I get a research check from you then? Novarius, you're
Yes.
still helping out the elves?
Yep. There's nothing else that's really drawing his attention right now. He's, he cares about this more than anything else. So yeah,
Yep.
as long as he's not distracted, he continues doing his stuff.
Okay.
How long is his time skip again?
Well, you go on another quest that takes multiple sessions. Am I
Okay.
getting aid on this, or
Yes, you've still got the help of the quote-unquote assistants.
just +2 or more?
It should be +4.
And I will
1,
take
2,
the
3, 4, 5. Sorry.
I will take a +3 inspiration as well here, for a total of 59.
Okay. Nia and Kevin.
Yes.
You two are in your town.
Yes.
What's the plan?
Well, I was going to see if Nia would be able to go start acquiring wood for us building the school.
Yep. I'm gonna go with the materials.
Who's keeping track of the money that got loaned out to you guys? Are you keeping track of it then, Kevin?
Yes.
We both know it's not gonna be me, so
I don't like that answer.
well, Kevin said yes. I don't. What don't you like about it?
Okay.
Lovely.
So, Novarius, I'm assuming since you got back to Elgara, you've taken Kevin's 45,000 from the ship.
He did not. He gave you the 40. He gave you the extra 45, but he did not take from. He did not take from you.
Okay.
He said he would. He said he would, but he didn't.
Nia, do you have trade law?
Uh, No, I did invest to unspecified lures, but I don't think any of them would be trade.
Okay, can I just get a 1d20 plus your charisma plus... Kevin, do you know what the nation bonus is off the top of your head?
The stat bonus should be a 2.
Plus 2. Couldn't remember if it was a 1 or 2, and I didn't want to find that sheet.
Any kind of circumstance bonus, given that we already have the existing deal with the other city.
No, that just doesn't apply any penalties.
Fair enough.
And it means that you don't have
Couldn't
to
she?
establish trade routes.
I was like,
16?
couldn't she just use? Couldn't she use diplomacy because she's going to be schmoozing so responsible, and that's sort of part of it.
I was expecting that too, but apparently not.
Not really. There's so much politics that goes on when you're dealing with town stuff that you really lose that sort of personal touch to it. That's really represented by your charisma still being added to it.
Right,
It just
I'll
ends up being
be
so much paperwork.
sure to invest one of my lures into that later, I guess.
16's not a bad
But-
result.
Okay.
Keep in mind that nation DCs are substantially lower than individual DCs.
Did you want
Makes
a plus
sense.
3 or D10 that?
I don't have the inspirations to be thrown around like that. It's broken. Oh, alright,
Oh.
there it is.
It just takes a second.
Let me...
Okay. So any modifiers that you're applying to that, Nia?
I don't have any to spare, so unless someone else feels like it, I don't think so.
I'll throw one of them at it. Do you want the plus 3 or the D10?
Up to you. I'm getting a lot of interaction failed on the bot.
Yeah, just keep trying. I'll try for the D10 on that one.
Alright, do I roll, do you?
Do you want to roll?
James, what's the ruling?
Yeah, it should normally be the person who applies the inspiration.
Go on, Kevin, do it.
Plus 7, so that makes 23.
That is a success. It was DC 18. Okay. You're able to acquire the resources for it.
Cool.
Kevin, can I get the development check? Oh, actually, you already made that for me, didn't you?
Yep.
Yes.
It was a 22.
22 is a success because that should be DC 18 and then size adjustment of 1, so 19. Okay. So it takes the better part of a year for the school to be constructed.
Makes sense.
Do the people of town actually get like some benefit from actually getting hands-on experience building shit? I would think so.
It adjusts their proficiencies.
Maybe they acquire new skills. Yeah. Anything to create a more skilled labor force.
Yeah. It doesn't really affect too many of the older people, the people who have their proficiencies already full. A few of them do actually retrain it, but a lot of people who are just getting their proficiencies are taking theirs in what the town is doing. Fortunately, these people are humans and they die like flies. During that year, you hear news that apparently there was an outbreak of some sort of demon coughing flu that was dealt with by the angels, and there were next to no casualties.
Cool.
Wonderful.
Other than that, there wasn't really that much news that year.
I'm assuming this took most of my time, right?
No, yours was a 1 month action.
Oh,
Kevin's was
cool.
the big one that took 15.
Alright, I'll be sure to write that down. Thank you. I believe.
Okay. So once the school's constructed, what's the plan?
Well, once it's constructed, we need to find a teaching staff.
Looks at Kevin's sheet, I would hope so.
Yep. James, what law, can I use this diplomacy for this? What kind of skill do I have to find people? Talented people? Or at least appropriate people for a given next task.
Society is applicable. Any of the magic ones is applicable. Research is applicable.
Right, research is a law, right? No, right? Or no, it's a skill,
Scholarship
sorry.
is applicable. Let's see.
Anyway.
And folklore is applicable.
I'm gonna go with research then, if it's okay.
Okay.
And this with the research. Do I just roll? Any circumstance bonus?
Nope.
That's inconvenient.
That one.
That is not agreeable. Oh, it's a 1 in 20 chance. There's no rerolls or anything like that, right?
No, your best bet is D10 and hope for the 10 to increase your category.
Yeah. Yeah, sure.
Okay.
9.
So close, yet so far.
Oh, whatever. I can just reroll later. This is a
After
1 month activity also, right?
32. Oh yeah, this is a 1 month activity.
Okay.
That's a critical success that gets knocked down to a regular success.
Fine.
Okay. So there is a supreme knight from the Eldritch Knight nation. He is probably your best bet from the ones that you've come across by far.
All right.
The others could best be described as coven witches.
I am interested. But okay.
Okay.
Just because I know it's about to be immediately important. James, let's talk money.
Yeah, you guys do that. Have fun.
As in how much he wants to be paid?
How much he wants to be paid, and how much the construction of the school officially cost.
You'll take a standard salary. Not any more than any labourer gets paid. And the school construction is 8,000 gold. 8,200 exactly.
Like materials and everything, 8,200.
Materials and everything, 8,200.
All
Nice
right,
thing
and
about
then
living in a poor nation is that people are poor.
well, there is that. And then what was the standard labor rate?
2.8 gold a day. Which is considered poor by most nations you've interacted with, which have a standard pay rate of about 3.5.
Knowing Kevin, he'd probably use the more standardized rate. So I will pay him a year's salary up front at 3.5 a day.
Alright. Okay. Nia,
Yes?
your wife has made enemies with one of the nobles to the south.
Fucking how?
Well, she went hunting and then went into their domain and killed most of their hunting beasts.
I'm assuming she knew not to do that.
Yes,
Why did she do that?
they provided the best challenge. And, well, those apes are dead now.
Okay, I guess we can pay them. We can pay the fine for that or something.
There's nothing technically illegal about that.
But the noble wants her dead now?
Doesn't want her dead, just wants her to hurt.
In what way?
Well, ideally, she'll lose any status of nobility.
Did my wife do this on purpose?
You're not sure, but it sure feels like it.
Lovely.
It's like she woke up and chose the most inconvenient thing that she could do to you that day.
That isn't even that unlikely. I'm gonna have to have a conversation with her about that, but first I'm gonna go talk to that noble.
It's not so much the noble, it's more his wife.
Okay, I'm gonna go talk to his wife.
His wife doesn't want
Prefer
to
to
speak
settle
with
this
you.
peacefully. Okay, you know what? Fuck this, James. What are the laws about charming people?
Compulsion magic is highly illegal.
Define compulsion.
Magic that takes the free will of someone else away, other than when it's absolutely necessary.
Okay, if I use the spell charm person to make people friendly to me so I can talk to them, is that enough? Is that illegal?
That is a crime, yes.
Motherfucker. Okay, I'll just have to do the old-fashioned way. It's time to platonically seduce people. Yes, I know that's how befriend people. I don't care.
Okay, roll actually, no, diplomacy is applicable.
Lovely. I'm gonna be applying inspirations, but only after, because I believe that is decided after the dice is rolled. I'm also gonna give myself guidance, so let's try not to nat one. I should have not. Okay, cool. I don't even think I need inspiration for this. 41.
You're able to put out the fire.
Lovely.
It's going to cost you 300 gold, but that is a small price
That's
to
fine.
pay.
Can I use that result to see if I can, if this is enough to see the positive relationship for the future?
That wasn't the intent, but it could lead to a positive event in the future.
Lovely. Should I roll again to see the positive relationship in the future?
No. Well, yes, actually, you can. Sabo,
Cool.
That's my name.
you were able to figure out their indexing system.
38.
Oh yeah. How long?
2/3 of a year. Really, the hardest part was actually organizing the books based on the actual system itself.
Okay, well, time to apply the indexing system. I'll let Novarius know that I can help him find the book.
Yep, do keep in mind though, it's only for that specific error of...
Yep, understood.
All right.
Yeah,
James.
you can probably tear. Oh, sorry, go.
I'm sorry. I got distracted. I didn't realize people were saying something. Can you tell me the name of these nobles and their towns later? Thank you.
The wife's name is Gali.
Right.
Gali.
Name of the place?
Minora? Minoria.
Okay. Say it again.
Minora.
Right. I'm assuming that 38 is enough to get my friendliness with them one step up.
Not necessarily.
Okay. Right. You can go back to talking to more people. I'm gonna send details of that in the near chat. Is that okay?
Okay. Oh, Sabo, can I get a research check from you?
Oh yes.
What's up with the pink dice?
That's just the colors that he set his dice as.
Oh,
I'll do the D10.
You don't need to, that's already a critical success.
Oh, okay.
Be right back. Be right back.
Right.
I will not do a D10.
but can he give himself a giga critical success with the D10?
You could knock it up one more category.
That's okay, considering I have the aid, and I'll just do a +3 because that will knock it up most likely.
Okay. Okay. Sabo, can you roll me 1d100, please? This doesn't necessarily matter what number it... Okay.
Hope it matters what number.
Okay. You find an instruction manual on how to create a apprentice alchemy stone. That's literally the first book that you find once you've figured out the actual system.
Okay. And do I think that I should look for a better alchemy stone?
From what you understand about them, you're supposed to start with an apprentice and work your way up. You could skip a few levels, but you've also never used one before, so
Okay, we can
it's probably
start
best to
here.
use the safety measures.
Alright, sounds good. But regarding rules, is it completely illegal to use them here? Because you mentioned there are some rules.
There's not really laws in that regard. Elves don't have hard, fast laws, but they have cultural ramifications. A master is unlikely to take on an apprentice who practices alchemy with a alchemy stone. It basically means that people will spend less time around you. Whether using this will counteract all the goodwill that you've done thus far in terms of societal role, you're not necessarily sure. You think you've got a fair bit of leeway, but you're also not sure how far that leeway will take you.
Okay. What if I can try, because they have this plan to keep the city floating, right?
Yep.
What if I was to explain that this is purely in as a goal to increase efficiency of the engines?
Again, for the average person, the reasoning behind it only takes you so far. You'd have to
Right,
have this
yeah.
conversation with each and every individual person for it. While they see the value in doing it, there's also that hesitation because a lot of them grew up on centuries worth of, hey, you really shouldn't use alchemy beyond a certain level because it can get quite dangerous. So it's kind of like that Chernobyl style feeling where
Right, okay.
you don't necessarily, you've never experienced the thing going wrong yourself, but you've been told your whole life that it's not the safest.
Okay. Do they need to know that I'm spending some of my time with the stone?
Not necessarily.
Okay. I will do it a little bit discreetly and go on. What was my other direction of? I suppose I can see if there's any other knowledge in that era that would make sense for me to recover. And I suppose the other direction of research was transmuting down instead of up.
Yep. Okay, so working on the construction of an alchemy stone. Can I get a craft and an arcane check, please?
Okay.
Why is the bot this slow today?
It's how is this? Do I need to boost the craft at all?
Higher is better for this.
Okay. Imagine I'm getting no help on these. I'll just +3 both. Three for today to remember.
Oh,
I'll actually put it this way. I'm not practicing alchemy with the stone. I'm researching the properties of the stone by doing alchemy both with and without it. And I'm not just practicing alchemy with the stone.
Okay.
Does that make it a bit better in the eyes of the elves?
For a lot of that, that's a distinction without a difference.
Okay.
They understand why that you view it as as there being a difference, but they themselves don't see it as much of a difference.
Okay.
So by the end of this, you've created a small white stone about the size of your thumb.
Mhm.
It's not at all smooth, but it didn't turn out quite as the instructions said it should. It should be a small reddish pink orb. The function, though, of this stone is almost identical to what an apprentice stone should be capable of.
Yeah, I'll try to recraft it to see if I can do better.
This took you just under 5 months to make this first one.
Yeah, I get it. I need to have at least one more data point.
Alright. Make me another set of checks.
Okay. Assuming this is a grand total of 5 years that have passed since we started. I made a note apparently.
Let me check. You
Actually,
guys were
it's not
interrupted
all that relevant.
in the 4th. So this would be partway through the 6th.
Okay. Sorry, continue.
You're being informed that they've located the... You would say town normally, but more the construct... No, that's not even the right word. It seems there's some sort of device in the moon itself that slams down into a magical vein, causing a massive burst that is then blasted up into the air, and then it is redirected by the satellite to wherever they're aiming.
Do we know if is this the moon that Orin is on? Do we actually know that information?
Initially, their suspicion was that Orn was somehow involved, but this technology seems ancient. The construction is well over 1,000 years in age. They also know that... where is that? If this weapon's to be used again, it is nearing time, a bit over a year from now, that it will be capable... Sorry, not capable, optimal to be fired again. To act immediately, he wants to destroy the focusing lens first, so the satellite needs to go. He's not quite sure how he's going to have that done just yet. He doesn't like that people aren't able to recall data or information about it, and all recorded notes that they took. So, when you would, for example, take a note on a table, you'd try to describe the shape of the table. When they are taking notes, it is, yes, this wall is white, very smooth, very white. It's a white wall.
So they intended to write something specific, but they ended up writing something else instead.
Seemingly so.
Seeing as how I am quite the linguist, I would, probably ask if maybe he can actually make a better sense of heads or tails. See if there's any sort of nuance to what they wrote.
There's definitely strange patterns in what they've written. So some of it is... You can tell just from looking at it that they, at the time, were referring to specific things. You just don't have a context of what those specific things could be. If you could have an A-B comparison, then you could probably decrypt this entire thing.
That would probably require me to go there myself to see it.
Yes.
That is something that I'm...
Because the
ultimately
moons... So moons operate on other planes. Moons are the only other planes. They technically kind of overlap with the main plane to different extents throughout its lunar cycle, but it doesn't orbit in the traditional way that a body orbits another. It's kind of like they are overlapping on the same reality.
Okay, so I would have to cast interplanetary teleport to actually get to it if I wanted to do that. I'm sorry, interplanar teleport.
Yeah, interplanar.
Okay.
From the surface, it's probably close to 100 miles off the ground.
But it's considered another plane for the sake of for teleportation reasons.
Yes.
Okay. Well, Ace, whatever you decide upon, I'm more than willing to assist. If there is an attempt to go back, I'm willing to help in that regard. Whatever you decide.
He appreciates that.
If that's all, I'm assuming he gets dismissed and goes back to what he was working on.
A bit less than 2 months later, you're informed.
Yeah, like Nia's gonna sit down with her and have her try to give her an understanding of the implications of that. But like, if that's what she wants, that it's not illegal, right? So Hell, I'm fairly sure all nobles want that. Am I incorrect?
I want to say yes.
But you cannot, right?
Right. So,
Yeah. So, fuck it. We ball. Like, if that's what she wants, she can do it. But I'm not gonna do it for her.
okay.
That makes sense.
You'd also know that from a bunch of the other nobles. Well,
Yes?
noble children, I should say.